All right. Hey guys, this is Alex O'Neill here with my trusty team of writers. We have Jacob Bryant here.
Hey.
Jarrett Green is here.
Hey.
and,
Uh,
I
and
tried to
then,
be sexier. Didn't work.
yeah, that did not work out for you. We also have
Or
Aneudys Tejeda
whatever.
here.
Hey.
Hey. We're going to spoil the shit out of Wolf
We
Among
already
Us
suck. Let's
episode
turn it off.
2.
It's over.
scrap this. Scrap it.
Yeah, we'll just have to drink more from this point on and see if it gets better. Maybe for us it will. We're gonna spoil the shit out of The Wolf Among Us episode 2, which just came out yesterday. Technically.
Yes.
We've all played it. We've all beaten it. If you haven't beaten it, now would be a good point to stop watching or stop listening, because it's gonna get pretty crazy.
Unless you want it to get spoiled.
Unless you want to know what happens.
People are weird like that.
Yeah. It's kind of hypocritical for me to say that because I'm playing through something right now that I kind of want to just ruin for myself and then stop playing. So, anyway, let's get general feels out of the way. Jarrett reviewed it for us. You gave it an 8.0. What did you think of it, Jarrett?
I did. I was actually teetering on 8 and 9. What would the 8 be? Because I had to sit and really evaluate what was wrong with the game. Because I feel like a lot was right. They did a lot right. I liked that it felt like a progression from the second in most ways.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know a little bit more about Bigsby and everybody else that he's kind of involved with. And got to see them from different angles. They always assume they push into you the first episode that Bigsby isn't as bad as everyone thinks he is, and you assume that he isn't, especially depending on how you play him. But
I'm gonna put this out here now.
It's the case for everybody else.
Not to interrupt you, Jared. I'm sorry. Just to prevent future errors, I'm pretty sure it's Bigby, not Bigsby.
Yep, Big B.
Bigsby. Big B, right.
Big
Sorry.
B.
I always want to call him Bigsby,
I understand.
but he's Big B because of Big Bad Wolf.
Yep.
I always fuck that up.
I
But-
didn't get that joke until maybe like
He's,
the last of episode 1.
Everybody else is... Till the very end. Oh, I
Yeah.
understand. He's
Yeah.
a wolf and he's big. There's a lot to say about the other characters.
Oh God, connection
So-
problems. Jarrett's connection really doesn't like him. That's what we've learned. When he catches
Yes.
up, we'll have him. All right, recap for us, Jarrett. What just happened in your world?
I don't know what just happened in my world.
You were saying about the characters.
They are all very much as complex as Bigby is. And you'll get fair opportunities to see just how gray everybody is. Like Toad he doesn't have to be the giant dick you want him to be. Even Bluebeard is like kind of just a product of his environment. No one is super good here, so you never really feel that you need to protect someone because they're a good guy or because they're a bad guy. You gravitate to them based on your own perceptions, and that was the best part about episode 2. It's not about good or bad. It's about what's good or bad to you and your decision making.
Mm-hmm.
How dirty do you want to feel right now when you make these decisions?
Yeah, especially that prologue scene, which
Yes.
was really excellent. I think both of them. What about you, Jacob? What's your general feels on episode 2?
So I really liked it. My game crashed on me twice while I was playing it, so that kind of sucked. But other than that, I agree with what Jared said. I think it's doing better than The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead only had like 1 or 2 characters that were morally gray and interesting, and the rest were like, okay, this guy's obviously a good person. This guy's obviously a shithead. In this game, it's like you can be either way, and you can turn other people either way depending on how you treat them, which I really like.
Yeah.
Especially like Toad, like you said, and Crane. which I was a
Yes.
dick to, and that spoiler, I'm sure we'll get into it later, which kind of pays off. I was a huge dick to him in the car at the beginning.
Yeah. It was weird because like going into this, I was thinking more about who I wanted Bigby to be, because I feel like you actually have a lot more control over where his character goes than they kind of tell you, and I think that's pretty interesting. Aneudys, how about you? Did you like it? Did you hate it?
I liked it a lot. For some reason, I don't know why. I just feel like it was really short, though. Maybe I just went through it fast, but or maybe it was just in comparison to the first episode. But I thought it was short. Aside from that, I did like the choices that were given to me or given to the character.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like the choices here have a lot more of an effect than maybe some of the choices that would have happened in episode 1. Because constantly with the choices made, it would show in the corner that they'll remember this or remember that. So it's going to be really interesting to see where they take it with episode 3.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it as well. To round it out, I thought it feels like with this, Telltale is kind of getting episodic content more, which is how I felt toward the end of The Walking Dead season 1. It felt like the 3, 4, and 5, those episodes were very well interwoven, mostly 4 and 5, on how they led into each other pretty seamlessly.
Absolutely.
And how they worked the cliffhanger in a clever way. I thought there it was cheap, but at the same time you appreciated it. And it feels like that is the case in The Wolf Among Us just right off the bat. Like I liked how the first episode ended, and I liked how they completely flipped the script on you within the first 20 minutes of episode 2.
Yeah.
In a way that I totally didn't expect. And I like how it ended, and I like how it kind of left a lot of thought, a lot for you to stew on between this and what happens next. I also appreciated that there wasn't a big slow down scene where you're like, oh shit, I have to pick between these two things. But it felt like there were a lot of those moments. They were just different, and you didn't see it as the really stereotypical, this is a bilinear choice, and you have to choose one or the other.
Well, with that, there's the
Every choice felt like
the
they were
prologue
a
sequence there.
bilinear choice that it was important.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. What were you saying, Aneudys? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I guess there's an audio delay there, but I was saying like with the choices when you were with the woodsman, where it was either this or that, and then that was maybe like 3 or 4 choices where you were either good or mean to him, and then again at the club where you could either break or not break.
Yeah. But they gave you like 5 different opportunities to go one way or the other, and I feel like however much there's a layer of gray in the middle, right? You could have broken everything, or you could have broken nothing, or you could have kind of done a little bit of both, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
So let's talk about the woodsman / Tweedledum, I think it is, scene, which is how how it starts pretty much. There's the police department scene in the beginning, but I don't know if there's much to say about it. I really liked how it started.
Well, I mean, first we should say who did we have in custody there, the woodsman or Tweedledee or Dum, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I don't remember what you guys had. I had the woodsman.
Yeah, I had the woodsman as well.
I had Tweedle, one of them, D,
Tweedle,
I think.
one of them.
Yeah, I think it was D.
Yeah.
Tweedle some guy.
Yeah.
I had
doesn't sound right.
the woodsman.
Oh, you had the woodsman?
Jesus.
Okay, so Jacob, you were the only one.
Yeah. And I beat the fuck out of him.
So I got the chance, like with The Walking Dead season 2 episode 1. My roommate played through it just after I did, so I got to see a chance with Tweedledum and with the woodsman. So I got to appreciate kind of both halves of that.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting because there is like one moment where they kind of allude to a piece of information that you find if you have the woodsman, and they allude to something completely different if you didn't. So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, the interrogation with the woodsman, I guess we'll talk about first. How many people went soft on him?
I tried
I
to go soft on him. I did like the first 2 choices with offering him a drink and a cigarette,
Yeah.
and then I was left with something else, but I couldn't find anything else, so I kind of just punched him. to get that third bit of info out of him.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, so fuck him.
Well, like that was when I started thinking about like how do I want Big B to behave. And I was like, I'm gonna play it like he's a guy with a big explosion but a really long fuse. So I kind of did everything, and then when it got to the bottle, which for me was the last thing, I just broke it over his head. And I thought that was great. And even though Crane got pissed at me, I'm like, no, that's totally what I would have done.
I didn't touch the woodsman.
Oh, so you got through the whole thing without even breaking?
I offered him a cigarette. I asked him pretty much every other way except hitting him about the information, and finally just gave him a cigarette. And then we related, and he told me the information I needed to know.
Yeah.
All of it?
Bluebeard was not super excited about that, obviously.
Oh no, he wasn't.
Which, real quick,
No,
I just acknowledge
Bluebeard
that...
wanted me to torture him immediately.
I know he's rubbing that knife, man.
Does anyone else think that Bluebeard kind of looks like Hugo Strange from
yes.
the Arkham games?
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
I was getting
Even
that
sounds
vibe
like
from
him a little bit. Like Dave Fennoy sounds a little bit like Arkham City Doctor
Hugo-
Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it was really weird because if you had read the file, I don't know if any of you did it, but if you had read the file on Bigby's desk in episode 1, you get to learn about Bluebeard and his fable.
It's
But
fucked up, isn't it?
yeah, it's pretty fucked up. He likes to cut off women's heads.
Yeah, he does.
And hide them in his mansion.
Yeah.
In like a really creepy way. But some people I know didn't even see that. And so this would be like their first introduction to him, and that he's basically running the town behind the scenes with his money and power and shit. But yeah, it was nice. I like I said, I waited to the last minute to break a bottle over the woodsman's head. What about you, Aneudys?
Yeah, like I said, I tried to be as nice to him for every option I could, and then I felt like I was on a time constraint because they kept pressuring me to get the information out, so I was just like, punch.
Yeah, they make it feel like that. They make it feel like you will not get information.
Yeah,
If
that's.
you
I feel like
don't
there's a
do
lot of moments in this chapter too where they're like, "Oh, hurry up! I'm afraid something's gonna happen," and I feel like I can only look at so many things or examine so many things before it'll cut me off and it'll go to the next scene. So I'm always like, I don't know what's being timed and what isn't.
Yeah. And all right, so Jacob, you had Tweedledum. Let's just assume it was
Yes.
Tweedledum.
Yeah, all right, that's fine, because I don't remember.
And you just went ham, I'm guessing.
So I punched him in the beginning, and he told me some things, and Bluebeard liked me a little bit. And then I gave him a drink. I didn't hit him with the bottle. I don't know why. I just felt like, all right, let's do this. And then, for some reason, I don't know why, but Ichabod Crane gave me a horrible vibe in the first episode, and even worse in the car ride beforehand. So when I saw that giving him a drink made Ichabod like me a little more, I immediately burned Tweedledum with his cigar. And he told me everything else that I needed to know.
Yeah. If you let him smoke the cigar, he just blows the smoke in your face though, like a dick.
Really? Well, then
Yeah.
I'm so glad I burned his hand.
Yeah, and then fucking twist, Snow White just bursts in the room, and you're like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is happening?
I almost killed this man for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I literally in my room just by myself was like, what? And then my cat gave me this really weird look, but that was about it. It was very unexpected for me. I know some people thought it was cheap, but I liked it. I liked it quite a bit.
I wasn't a fan with how she was just so nonchalant about it. Like, she knew what had happened, but she didn't really explain it right away. She was just like, what were you doing in there? How could you torture a man?
Yeah.
Oh, this is... And I kept every option I had with Bigby, sorry. I just kept saying, what's going on? How are you alive? I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
Just kept avoiding it.
So I thought it was completely obvious, or maybe that Snow is one of the only people that Bigby likes.
Yeah.
So I thought it was weird that people were reacting that he was like going really intensely, like to figure out what happened to her. I thought that was I felt like, why would they think like that if Snow was the only person who Bigby liked, and Snow was the only person that understood Bigby more than everyone else? I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, there was one scene like in the beginning when you're torturing him. Like if you hit him over the head with a bottle, Ichabod's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, stop it!" And he tries to throw Snow's death on you, and you make him feel so shitty. You're like, "Listen, I didn't treat you like shit every day. Don't you put this on me?" And it was so satisfying to see Ichabod go, "Whatever." But yeah, it was weird. Like, she shows up and you're kind of trying to ask her all the questions, and she's more upset about you hitting someone. But you know that makes sense to her character, I suppose, and it did all kind of fit together, and you figure out what happens pretty quickly. Although I was confused for that first part when you're talking to like Toad Jr. and stuff. But then it cuts to the office scene where you have to talk to Toad Jr. How did you guys play this?
Toad Jr. is the Clementine of The Wolf Among Us, and I treated him as such.
It's the same voice actress.
It is. I wasn't sure if it was, but I'm glad that I wasn't going crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I treated him like he was my own, and I was a dick to his dad the entire time he was there.
Oh yeah,
so.
totally. He totally deserved it.
See, I really like Toad, so I treated him super nice. And then after he was lying in episode 1 about the whole house invasion thing, I'm kind of like, you know what? Fuck you, Toad.
Yeah, it was like I had already slapped the shit out of him.
Me too.
So I tried not to be too horrible to him, but I wasn't exactly nice. I was kind of a dick, I'll say, but I definitely played it as the nice guy for Toad Jr. Did everyone reach out their hand and then have him like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I thought that was because they saw me punch the guy. I was like, man, maybe there's a way to avoid that.
Yeah, Jarrett picks up on social cues better than the rest of us, clearly.
Yeah, I knew that TJ saw me beat the shit out of his dad like not too long ago. So maybe me reaching out my hand towards this little scared frog is like a mistake.
Yeah, I thought of that.
And I'm not even sad that I beat Toad's ass. So, and he knows I'm not sad about it. So why pretend?
Yeah, I thought it was weird. That like I didn't think of that, and as soon as I reach out my hand, I'm like, no, what are you doing? This is dumb. But luckily it didn't fuck up too bad. It was nice to be like kind of the good cop who does a lot of fucked up things for a moment, because that's kind of like you can see in how Toad Jr. looks at you. You're kind of like the cool cop that you've earned everyone's respect, but no one wants to fuck with. For that moment, that's what I felt like.
Yeah,
I felt
he's
like
a badass.
I felt like Bruce Willis.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Big B is a total badass. Just the one scene where you're taking the plank and you're moving it across the bar, just knocking off the glasses.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was
That
so
was
great.
cool. That was also awesome when you see Grump again.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I
Totally.
ripped Grant's arm off.
So did
when
I.
I saw Grump again, he wasn't saying shit to me.
Oh yeah. He's just sitting there, and
He was chilled out.
It was awesome to see that. One thing I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on what Toad Jr. tells you, which is he hears someone talking and they're saying stop laughing at me. Is the full quote if you push that out of him. I want to hear what you guys thought of that, to delve into the mystery a little bit.
I definitely think Hans has something to do with that.
Really?
I don't know why. I feel like he obviously had like a minimal role in this episode, but I feel like he's going to be like the muscle, like you said, the pimp's muscle. Mm-hmm. So chances are he's involved with that. He was there somehow, I think, taking care of business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was weird. It was something like
Business.
That was the first time that I was starting to think like this is actually a pretty interesting mystery. Because we'll get to it, but I don't think it's Ichabod doing this.
I think it's too early to have that nailed down.
Oh, totally.
Because there's no way Ichabod can outrun Bigby for 3 more episodes.
God, no. There's no way he can keep his head for that long.
Yeah. I still think that the killer is someone we haven't met yet. Like, it's going to be a little more drawn out than that. I mean, it'd be cool if it's someone I already know and he's been around the entire time, but I still think it's someone we haven't. Like maybe we'll meet him in the next episode and not know that he's the killer, but.
Yeah, or maybe like it was his RV that you took all the stuff out of, Jacob.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was watching you the whole time.
What? No. Don't get me started.
Yeah, it was good. And then so having watched someone else play through this scene where you're basically back in the office, I watched my roommate basically just go straight to the body and then miss like half the things on the body and then just go to the next scene. So I spent like a solid half hour longer than he did just walking around the office again and looking at stuff and talking to the magic mirror. I'm curious if you guys did that as well.
Yep. Is anyone else curious what Toad was talking to the mirror about before you go and talk? Because he's talking to him about something, and then the mirror gives kind of like a half-assed answer and gets mad at you because you didn't rhyme your question.
I don't know.
I was kind of curious.
I didn't ask him. I wanted to ask him next, but when you ask him any other question, it just goes on to a different dialogue string.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, first thing I did actually before I talked to Toad was examine the body. And I did that for a little while, and then it optioned me to leave, but I kept looking at the body for more stuff. Mm-hmm. After that, when I went back to the office, I went straight to Toad. I didn't even know the mirror was an option to talk to, so I guess I missed some stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk to the mirror, and it'll give you, like, you'll say, like, hey, where's Lily? And it'll give you the whole my lips are sealed deal again.
Which I think is a really interesting hook so far with this ongoing just phrase they keep saying and you don't know why.
Yeah. And I like that they haven't given it away yet, because it would have been easy for them to tell you that it was Georgie or whatever, but it could be something more, and I like hoping that it might be something more. But yeah, you can like flip tarot cards, you can look at the Book of Fables again. I did all that stuff, and I talked to the magic mirror. I don't think there was.
There's a bottle of perfume on Snow's desk. I don't know if that's pertinent. I don't know if you can still make the connection when you search the body and find the perfume if you don't see it on the desk.
You can. Unfortunately. But yeah, I did look at the perfume and stuff.
Antacid. Crane's antacid.
Yeah, the antacid stuff. Actually, now that I think about it, you can't make the connection if you don't look at the bottle on the desk. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
Because I know he bullshits and is like, I can smell it, and then he's like, oh, by the way, I saw it on your desk.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, then you examine the body. Now, did anybody else open her hand and do all that?
Yep,
I did that.
Okay.
Saw the heroin injections in her thigh.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the lingerie, though.
Neither did I. I
missed out.
Yeah, I did too.
I missed out on that. I went
straight to the pockets.
Oh, I'm the only one that did that?
Yeah.
He's
Perv.
like,
yes.
He's like, are you? I guess they didn't get the underwear right, and she's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, are you wearing this lacy underwear? She's like, I'm not going to answer that, but the clothing is wrong, I'll say. You gotta.
She's not wearing underwear.
There's the twist. Yeah, and then checking both the pockets, and you find the creepy perfume that says "use this."
Use this, yeah.
Oh, God, that gave me chills. But yeah, it was very cohesive. It felt very murder mystery. Kind of reminded me a little bit of L.A. Noire.
I was thinking that too.
They threw the pace at you, like minus all the bullshit. And and then they basically just throw you into the next big scene with Georgie. At the Trip Trap bar. Never mind, Georgie's after that. Everybody brings Snow with them, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was funny at the very end when they show like the statistics, how polarizing it was when 97.6% of the people took her with you. I'm like, well, that's a small percentage of people that didn't do that.
Yeah, I didn't actually get the percentages, the statistics to load for me at the end.
Oh, really?
On the first
day. Yeah, it didn't work for me either.
Yeah, I think it's the day one thing, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, because I beat it today, not too long ago, actually.
Okay. So, at the Trip Trap, we get to meet Jack the Giant Slayer right there. What a great character!
What a douchebag that guy
What a
is.
giant asshole.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, I loved it though. It was his just perfectly douchebaggery was executed on perfectly, I should say.
He probably goes to Radford University.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that was great to see. I like it when they introduce like new fables, and you're like, who are you? And you kind of figure it out over time. But I'm trying to think of like the next major point. I mean, you scared the shit out of Gren.
You talk to you sit her down, or what's her name, Lily's
Holly.
sister, Holly. Yeah, you sit her down and talk to her and give her back that brooch that you take off the body. But then she just says, go to the pudding and pie, which is which is a hilarious name for a strip club.
That's the worst. Like, as soon as
It's so good.
As soon as they said it, my roommate gave me this look like, oh god, of just like disgust. It's like you think about it for maybe like 30 seconds too long, or maybe it immediately registers with you, and you're like, oh, I just have this horrible taste in my mouth.
Yep. Don't like that. Don't like saying that.
Put it in pie. And like the bar scene's pretty brief. Like the major scene I think is the putting in pie when you're talking to Georgie. And
which was awesome.
What a
did anyone just lean over and turn off the stereo right when you walk in the place?
I tried.
I did. I was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I tried, but I instead like walked up to him and then just kind of presented myself. I wish I had done that, like a total badass. And then Telltale Engine breasts. We now know.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
We are never going back. We can't live in a world where that.
I like to
Go ahead.
coin the phrase "tail tits." Tweet that.
Tail tits.
They've probably got to practice making all those for the Game of Thrones game. If the
man, it's just gonna make
it's gonna be
when dicks and titties are just out for
Telltale doggy style all game.
It's like literally you're walking around and it's like you're in Rust pre-patch. It's just dongs and tits galore. Yeah, that was interesting. I wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. And then when we walked in, I'm like, oh, all right. Telltale's getting a little frisky.
Yeah, she's just naked.
She's just doing that, isn't she? Yeah, it was. I like this scene a lot, just from beginning to end. It was probably my favorite scene in the chapter in the episode. Second only to maybe the last area with Beauty Beast and the hotel or motel.
Holiday Inn.
The Holiday Inn. So, what did you guys do with Georgie? How did you handle this situation? I played it pretty safe. But I'm curious what other.
Try not to freak out, but he made it really hard.
Oh yeah, he seemed like
because Georgie, you look at him and he's talking, and you know he's a dick, and he's not gonna like. He needs like persuasion.
Mm.
So every once in a while, I'd break something that looked like it'd be valuable. Not everything, but like the DJ booth.
Yeah.
And like a light or something.
Yeah.
And then eventually he comes around, but.
I broke I didn't break anything but the keg. Like literally when I saw the keg, I'm like,
that was a lucky guess.
Fuck this, gadunk. That was my breaking point. And yeah, I kind of wanted to break everything, but I didn't.
See, I played it differently. I didn't break a single thing.
Okay.
What?
Yep, just every time I just kept being the nice wolf and hoping that maybe he'll do something. And after there was like 6 options, I was like, oh god, it's just going to keep going until I break something.
You have a stronger will than I do.
Yeah, I don't know how you resisted the temptation.
Did he give you the book still?
Yeah, he did. I reached the DJ booth, and even after I said not break it, he was going to like pretend to hit it, and then he stopped him, and he's like, all right, here's the key.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much how they spearhead you into that. But I like the idea of how much bad will are you building with Georgie, because you know he's just going to be some kind of asshole later on as well.
I'm piling up the hate with Georgie because I ruined that place.
Oh yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah, I'm realizing I'm playing this game like I'm just being so much worse to everyone in this world than you guys are.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I didn't break everything either. I thought the way he drags the paddle on the table was more intimidating to me than him breaking like that cigarette machine or whatever it was he was going to break.
Totally. That moment, that was probably my favorite moment.
Yeah.
Just single moment in the episode.
Yeah, and then I broke the TV, I broke the keg, I broke the DJ booth. And then
So you did kind of break everything.
I broke everything but the cigarette machine and I think a lamp.
Yeah.
A lamp, yeah.
I left the
I
essentials.
broke the lamp, the TV, and DJ booth.
Okay. See, I should have just broke.
I didn't want to not
cassette
break
player.
something, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like I had to, because people need to know
Yeah, exactly.
that
And
I'm not here to
Georgie-
fuck around with Georgie Porgy.
Georgie gives me the worst vibe, especially because his name is Georgie, and you know his last name is Porgy, and he just he grew up so bad.
He's super creepy.
See, I'm playing it the opposite. I'm thinking that he's coming off as a douchebag, but he's definitely going to be helpful later.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because when I went to go turn off the radio, I ended up like breaking it, and then he's like, "Georgie's going to remember that," and I was like, "Damn it!" But when I broke absolutely nothing throughout the whole thing, he's like, "Georgie's going to remember that," and I'm like, "That's going to be really helpful that I didn't trash this whole club."
Or maybe he's gonna think you're a pussy, and he's just not gonna talk to you ever again.
Well, then he can
Probably.
easily fix that though.
Like, it can go either way. Honestly, Georgie seems like the kind of sociopath that I don't honestly know which way he's gonna go. It's a flip of a coin. You guys probably earned mad respect for breaking a bunch of shit. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, I like the Georgie scene. I like just how badass you felt in that club too.
God,
And
so gross. Though. Such a gross name. I can't get over the name. Or the fact that Georgie
Porgy.
owns a strip
pudding
club
pie.
now, and the pudding and pie. Ugh.
oh, pudding and pie.
What I
Georgie
like
Porgy.
more is that Big B smokes Huff and Puffs.
Yes, I heard that.
Oh,
He
man,
went
I
to
didn't get
the
that.
Huff and Puffs.
Yeah, that was. And it's just like there's that moment. I don't know if you guys did this. When you get in the motel, you can examine the soda machine.
Yeah.
And he looks at the soda machine. He's like,
that shit will kill you.
"That shit'll kill you." Takes puff of cigarette. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. That made me laugh. So you guys talked to Nerissa, the Little Mermaid, but before we get to that, when you're examining the cubbies in the changing room, this is where the crucial bit of information with the woodsman kind of plays into it. If you had talked to the woodsman, he tells you that Faith wasn't supposed to be at his apartment that night that you see him beating on her and whatnot. He tells you that Lily was supposed to be there, but Lily canceled at the last minute for someone else. And that's why Faith was there. But if you had Tweedledum, she examined... Big B examines the note that Lily leaves for Faith, and you're like, well, it seems like they both had the same client. And it gives this implication that their same client was the murderer, when really it was just the woodsman. So they're dropping some knowledge on you guys.
I picked the
Some
wrong
good knowledge.
person, clearly. The
Yeah.
woodsman knows what's up. Tweedledum didn't know shit.
Well, Tweedledum, he points you at Beauty, which
Yeah, I guess that's true.
another curiosity. So you talked to Nerissa. More lips are sealed, apparently, and it was to the point where it had been said so much, and now we're talking to a stripper, that every time lips were sealed was mentioned, my roommate just started giggling because he's a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, I made a small little connection here with the ribbons, because obviously the strip, they had them when they died,
Yeah.
and the stripper outside the club and Marissa had it too. So I feel like there's probably a spell involved with that ribbon that kind of makes them say that.
maybe.
but it also extends to the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it might be a spell that's more overarching than that.
yeah.
True.
Could be a spell on where they live. Could be a spell on the strip club that they all work at. Could be a spell on the people themselves. There's a lot of unknowns. But it's definitely some kind of weird magic that we don't understand yet. But yeah, so you talked to Nerissa. I really liked how this scene played out. The Little Mermaid herself.
Man.
Saw her tits.
Dancing for your enjoyment.
Yeah, just saw your titties. Changed my whole childhood right there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there were jokes made about that. Yeah, I liked the scene. I liked she gives you the key to room 204, I believe. And that leads you to the final scene, which is the motel. So when you talk to Beauty, Jacob, do you want to share what she kind of talked about what Tweedledum, the association there was, if you want to share that?
Oh God, what was it? I don't even remember.
She
Just played it yesterday.
Yeah, she
Remind
takes a
me.
loan out from someone.
Oh yeah.
And she mentions them by like a title, not a name. And Tweedledum and Tweedledee work for that person, and they're basically loan sharking her.
Oh yeah.
If I remember correctly.
That's right, and that's why she's working too at that place, right?
Yeah.
To pay the bills. Yeah.
To pay the bills and to pay that loan shark to keep them from, breaking Beast's face.
Right.
Even though you do that pretty well.
I did that real well.
Yeah. I like this Jacob. I like your interpretation of Bigby as some crazy roided out angry person.
He does. I feel like every game I play as just the goody two shoes, and this Bigby is the first person I feel like who wouldn't always like. I feel like he's I'm playing him like the slightest thing will just set him off, and he will just be a horrible police officer and person.
Yeah. I do like that.
But I play him. He's always nice to the female characters. I'm noticing. I'm playing him like he kept Beauty's secret. He was like very conscious about looking closer at the Snow's glamored body, like not wanting to be too inappropriate and invasive. Instead of just being like, well, I'm just gonna rip open this person's shirt that looks exactly like you and just go to town on my investigation.
Now, see, I did that.
Really?
Cubic
Yeah, I
class.
asked her. I was like, I'm gonna take off your shirt, and she's like, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah. I did like that. I do like that. There's that total side though, and you can definitely pick up on it. I was gonna say something and I totally blanked. I guess we'll just move on. So you talked to Beauty at the motel. How many people had lied for her? Because I lied. I straight up lied for her. I didn't say
I did too.
Yeah,
I didn't say anything, and Beast just kind of assumed that I hadn't seen her.
Mm-hmm. There's a
That's
way
his
to make it sound like make yourself sound like an asshole, though. I've seen it, so you can get Beast pissed at you, just right off the bat. So did anyone go into room 204, or did you all go to 207 right away?
straight to 207.
I listened to the door of the people that were clearly having some conjugal
Sexual relations.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yeah, there was some coitus going on in room 2 something.
Yeah.
And then I walked right to 207.
Yeah. And then Beast shows up, and this breaks into the only action scene in the episode, which is pretty short.
Yeah,
too.
kind of a...
Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
In the prologue, you can get an action scene depending on how you play it.
Oh, really?
Really?
I got into a small brawl with Bluebeard because I didn't want to torture Woodsman, and Bluebeard did. And when I got the information, Bluebeard didn't believe the information. It was just going to go to town on Woodsman by himself. So I stopped him, and we had a small skirmish before Snow jumped in.
Oh,
That's
wow.
awesome.
I wish I would have done that.
Me too. I would've loved to
Instead,
punch
Bluebeard's my
Bluebeard.
best friend now because I tortured the shit out of them.
That's awesome. That's actually like a really cool thing. Man, I hate Bluebeard already too, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I was like, fuck Bluebeard.
He cuts off women's heads. He probably deserves it.
Yeah,
Well, for I guess the rest of us, this was the only action scene then. which I think is a good thing for the purposes of this episode. There wasn't a lot of action, especially after there was so much in the first episode. And there's only brief moments of it here, and even this beast fight scene was kind of brief, for like a telltale action scene. With The Walking Dead season 2 episode 1 out there, and that's, I'd say, even more action than it is peaceful moments. It's interesting to see the direction they're going with this. Curious if you guys agree.
I have yet to play season 2 episode 1, so can't vouch for that. But it is definitely. I know there was the only action scene in this one episode, but it was pretty damn brutal.
Yeah, it was definitely brutal.
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. So you guys beat the shit out of Beast, I'm guessing.
Oh man,
I did. I tried my best not to. I tried to talk him down. I only punched him the one time, and I immediately stopped.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm sure you played it differently, Jacob.
I hit him twice.
I ripped Beast's head off and fucked it.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm the murderer. That's the twist. At the end of Jacob's campaign.
I wouldn't be
Beauty
surprised.
tried to pull you off, and you just punched her too.
So everyone claws his eyes, though, right? Like they stick his fit. That was
Yeah, I think
That
that's
was
the only way to do it.
It was brutal. I mean, I know his eyes like heal up in like a couple seconds, but still, it was hard to watch.
yeah.
Right. I thought the same thing. That's like a little intense.
Yeah.
Like that's a
Yeah.
dude's eyeballs. You're just trying to rip out of his face right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
You,
Yeah,
like,
those
you like this
claws-
person. He's just misunderstood.
yeah.
Man, he came in at the worst time, though, to beat. It looks like you're just going into a room with Beauty. And I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
man. I'm going to have to fucking destroy
I'd
you
be-
now.
Right. I'd be fucked up about it too, though.
Yeah.
You know, Bigsby's not like a good person. He's gonna go defile Beauty in like this strange hotel.
Now, I do want to point something out that I'm 90% sure is correct. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. I believe that this scene has significantly changed since, or it's different than what it was originally intended to be. And this is me being like crazy, having like a weird memory of stupid things like this. In the next time on The Wolf Among Us from episode 1, if you
He was outside, right?
Yeah, if you remember, you see Beast confronting Bigby outside in an alleyway. It looks like possibly outside the hotel or outside the Pudding and Pie, everyone's favorite strip club.
Yeah. Oh.
And this is obviously inside in the hallway. Now I don't know if there's possibly a way to have Beast confront you outside or not. I doubt it, but it seems like this scene could be one of many that did drastically change.
I feel like that's what happens when there's 4 months in between episode 1 and episode 2. They had a way, and then they ended up changing it.
Yeah, and I really like this scene, so
Absolutely.
maybe this scene was a lot better than the original scene.
Hopefully.
I don't know. I just something curious to point out. I'm glad you noticed it.
Yeah,
too.
because I remembered that too, and I was waiting to see Beast outside, and we were gonna throw it down. I had assumed, but
Yeah. All right. So then we find the fucked up room, the party room, as I
the part.
as I called it. So it's kind of hard to play this room pretty differently. I fucked up. I'll put it out there. Though, unfortunately, when you're like connecting all of the things to the little storybook you find on the desk, it's, by the way, very creepy.
Yeah,
Yep.
super creepy.
Yeah,
The-
super
the-
creepy.
Is she still breathing? Post-it note will haunt me for the rest of my life. But yeah, I the first time when you're like examining the bed, instead of saying he was setting the scene, just like the storybook, I said that he was obsessed with death, which I still, it's possible.
Let's be honest. He's painting a picture, and he's probably obsessed with death a little
Yeah.
bit.
I think I just missed that option, and that's why I didn't select it. But
So what does it say up in the corner? Does it
it
say
just
anything?
doesn't say anything. It doesn't say, "Oh, you linked the evidence." I got the other two right.
Yeah.
But
You know what's weird about that sequence? I got the most obvious one wrong. When you look in the closet and you see Snow White's costume, I was like, yo, he probably cross-dresses.
Yes, I wanted someone to say it. I wanted someone
And
to
she's
say
like, I mean, I guess. I wouldn't have thought that, but...
Because I was just imagining that picture.
I was like, you never know.
Ichabod wearing that dress, just wandering around the room with that creepy music playing.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I didn't end up picking this option, but did you guys see with the apple? The options were like, oh, it was poisoned, or one of them was he has a food fetish.
Yeah, I saw that.
I really wanted to click that.
Or like he was hungry afterwards.
Yeah, that was the weird like option that was clearly wrong.
I can't wait to play this game over again and just
be the worst
fuck around.
Yeah, no,
And, like,
just be the
not
worst
fuck it up.
detective, and then fucking beat everyone to death.
Just run around like, do you want to examine this body? No, I'm all set. Just keep
Yeah,
going.
no, I'm good. I just looked at it once, and I think I got everything.
Yeah, I think she's dead, so we're good.
So we're just gonna go punch dudes. Yeah, it was really shitty because my roommate got everything right, and when I was watching him play, Beauty's at the end. She's like, "You're actually like a really good detective."
Yeah.
I'm surprised, and she never said that about me.
Yeah, she said that about me, so...
I have to. Well, she didn't say about. Apparently, my guessing that he's obsessed with death.
She somehow knew that you were completely off base there.
Yeah,
And
she
judged
knew I
the
was just
shit out of you.
Full of garbage. I just gouged her husband's
bitch.
eyes out.
Don't judge me. I just beat the shit out of your husband. You can't even pay your bills. Like, shut up.
Yeah, come on. You got enough problems to start pointing fingers, okay? So then we get the big reveal, or the tease, or the lie. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. We're looking at the photos. We see photos of Snow in the park, and then we see photos of Bigby and Snow, and then we see the creepiest picture ever of Ichabod Crane reaching his hand up this Lily Snow White's dress, and then he's like, "It's Crane," and it cuts to this awesome shot of Crane
Smashing the
magic mirror. Yeah. So here we are at the end of episode 2. Blaze through it. We talked about that pretty quickly. It's a pretty straightforward episode.
Yeah.
Which I liked. It doesn't really dawdle. It doesn't fuck around. It doesn't lead you down any wild goose chases. It's pretty straightforward and in a good way. So what do you guys think is going to happen next? I'm curious. Jarrett, how about you start everything off?
I'm not sure. Like, I strongly believe Crane is probably the real Crane. It's probably not a glamored Crane. It's probably just creepy-ass Ichabod Crane. And he was up to some bullshit, because he's always treated Snow like shit, but when you have him in the car, once he believes she's dead, he's super emotional. Mm-hmm. So I have to believe that at least at one point, Crane's hired Lily to be Snow White. Like, this might not have been the first time she's done this.
Yeah.
Which is where that picture comes from.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot going on that we don't know about. There's still fables I'm sure we haven't met. Mm-hmm. Bluebeard has to be a far bigger asshole. He can't just not be involved. He wants to be involved in everything. Everyone talks about how involved he is, again, in this ostensible way. He has to be involved in this somehow.
Yeah. And like with the next time preview, we see Bluebeard's pretty much taking over as soon as Ichabod is accused and takes off. Yeah, I agree. I think there's more to what's happened. Crane is definitely involved in some capacity, and Bluebeard's up to some shit. What about you, Jacob? What do you think? You got the next time preview where fucking Tweedledum shows up with a shotgun pointing at your back.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So
it escalates quickly over there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I treated him like fucking garbage, so that's probably warranted.
That's probably why.
But God, I have no idea what's gonna happen next. I still think that there's still pieces that they're gonna throw out there before we start having to put it all together in the next episode. I bet we meet a couple more, and then we'll start be like the last 2 episodes will be more piecing what's been laid out together. I'm really excited to potentially turn into a full Big Bad Wolf and just go crazy on Fabletown, because I will.
Yeah. I believe episode 4 takes place on the farm.
I want to. Good, because I want to hang out with the roommate, the pig.
Yeah, Colin.
Yes.
I believe because if you look at the episode covers, which they have since removed, I think. The episode 4 was a shot of the farm, which would make sense if say Crane ran to the farm and you chased him there. But I'm sure we'll see a little bit of the farm in this, and I'm curious to see what will happen next, especially with the Tweedledum stuff. What about you, Aneudys? Theorems?
I don't know what to expect. I went into this episode thinking Snow White was dead.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what to expect. I have my very strong suspicions about Bluebeard being the solid guy going around killing people. He's obviously not the lead guy. Someone's telling him to do it, but during the torture scene when you walk in and he was just taking out that sword.
Mm-hmm.
So I figure maybe that's a good weapon to cut off heads, and that's what he does. So
yeah,
definitely think he's going to play a big role in the next episode, and maybe Crane will kind of take a small back seat.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see. I feel like when Bluebeard gets involved, we start seeing a lot of politics of Fabletown, and I think that could be really interesting. For me, I'm pretty convinced that Ichabod is not the killer. It seems too convenient, especially with his really rash reaction to it. I feel like he feels like he's getting set up. He wouldn't have opened up to you about snow in the morning in the car if he was the killer. I feel like he wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have gone out on a limb like that. And I feel like his reaction is too fearful, but illogical in the sense that he feels like he's been set up and there's nothing he can do about it. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Who knows? I'm starting to think that the killer is a mundane person obsessed with fables, and I think that could lead well into someone basically discovering about Fabletown and figuring all this shit out could lead to someone who's pretty fucked up. And I think if that's the final confrontation, that could be really, really good.
Now, I got a question, Alex. I'm not sure if you or anyone else here would know this, but given that Wolf Among Us is based on the Fables comic, is this just set in that universe, or is this following a storyline that's already happened in the comics? Does anyone know that?
Prequel, I think. It's before the comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember this story at all. I read a little bit of Fables. I don't remember this story at all. I guess it is a prequel.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's a prequel. It takes place sometime before the comics start, I believe. I can check.
No, don't worry. I think it's a good thing that it's a prequel, because with everything else that Telltale's going to be doing, it's going to be weird to see a season 2 of this in the future with other games they're working on, and then who knows, maybe a season 3 of Walking Dead. So
Yeah.
hopefully this is its own standalone game, no sequel, just this one season. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it'll end up being. So Wolf Among Us is set mid-1980s, which is 30 years before the events of the first Fable issue.
I thought it was funny in the club when Georgie pulled out the phone to call the cops or something, and it was just that big, bulky
Giant
phone.
phone. Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I was like, oh yeah, I forgot this was the 80s.
Yeah. It's definitely when the scene the episode starts with that really dark shot of Bigby looking through the 2 cops' shoulders, and you kind of it fades in and gets a little brighter and then cuts to the police interrogation room. In that moment, I'm like, oh man, this game looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just this really dark purples contrasted to these really bright yellows. Just that high contrast makes this game look so gorgeous.
That opening credits.
Oh,
look
yeah.
real nice too.
So good. And I'm playing on PC, so I'm spoiled a little bit. But what do you guys all play on PS3?
Yeah.
Slumming it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I think that covers it unless anybody has
Slumming
anything
it.
else. Slumming on the PS3. Does anybody have anything else to add to Wolf Among Us Episode 2?
I think Jack the Giant Slayer is excellent.
Yes.
Yeah. He's such
Agreed.
a dick.
And I really
I hope he
hope
doesn't come back.
I can rip Grant's other arm off.
Jesus.
That would be kind of cool.
That would be good. Have it come full circle.
Fuck Grant, by the way. Just fuck him.
Just all weird fish-looking face. Ugh.
Yeah, like he's talking shit to Snow when I'm standing right there. Like, did you forget the last time I walked in here and you were talking shit? That's why your sleeves all rolled up.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. I think that pretty much wraps it up. If you have any thoughts on the Wolf Among Us, actually, 1 second. I'm gonna check something. Fill air for 1 second. About
So who wants to put
So
over
if there was a Fable you had to like, if you had to pick a Fable to be in this game, and had to pitch him to Telltale, who would he be?
God,
That's
I
not
don't.
already in the game right now.
the Little Mermaid.
Simba from Lion King.
I don't think that qualifies as a
Is that Fable?
It's a fable to me.
He's close. He's close enough.
God, I don't even know.
Okay.
I think like Simba, like if you take a Lion King character and you put it in this like gritty world, it'd be pretty
would he
cool.
just be
actually.
Would he just be a cat?
No,
Or
he
be
would
a
be
person?
walking around with like a
Alright.
jean jacket.
He'd be a dude, but like a mane,
jean
I guess.
jacket. He'd have
Like
a
a righteous
blonde
mullet.
mullet. He'd have a blonde mullet.
Denim.
Yeah, mullet.
No, he's denim head to toe, man.
Yeah, he's got that Texas tuxedo.
H to T.
I thought it was a
man.
Canadian tuxedo. Gonna look like Rick Astley and never gonna give you up.
Oh yeah. If Simba was in this and he looked like Rick Astley, this would probably be a good contender for Game of the Year. Just on that alone.
Just
I would
just
just-
by itself.
I would be digging through the internet to find like a 12-inch statue of that character.
We can hope. Yeah, I was just checking to make sure we didn't have any emails, but we were good because I sent out a call yesterday, but we're good. No one answered. Well, if you have any thoughts on Wolf Among Us, feel free to tweet them at IrrationalPod. We will respond, and we'll possibly bring them up in our next Wolf Among Us Spoilercast. We've done this for the first 2 episodes, so I think we'll keep it going. But yeah, we're definitely anxiously anticipating episode 3. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Hopefully, it doesn't take 4 months to get episode 3.
Hopefully.
God, yeah.
But who knows? Honestly, at this point, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm glad
hope
that episode 2 wasn't like a train wreck, and that they're keeping that quality bar up. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you want to hear more from us, please go to our website, irrationalpassions.com. And, of course, check out Jarrett's review of The Wolf Among Us Episode 2, which you can check out on the website. And while you're at it, read my review of Episode 1. And look out for Jacob's review of Episode 3. I like this whole different people reviewing different episodes. Getting a different taste in there for the same series that I find quite interesting. But yeah, stay tuned, and I'm sure we will be talking more Wolf Among Us soon. So thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.